Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. This is Tarot by Melissa, and in today's reading we're going to be looking into what's ahead for you during Aries season. So Aries season takes place from around March 21st through April 19th. So we are going to be taking a look at what energies, events, situations, or lessons of significance you all will be moving through during this time. So let's go ahead and get into some disclaimers. First, keep in mind this is a general reading, so some of the messages might resonate quite specifically to you, while others of the messages may not. So as I always say, if it doesn't apply, if it feels like it's a little bit confusing, it's probably not your message. Just simply release it and let it go, and please do not allow it to get you upset or trigger you if something in these general readings isn't super specific and accurate to your personal situation. These are general readings, really intended to provide general guidance. If you did want to book a personal reading, I am opened up again for personals. All the details on how you can do that will be linked in the description box down below, and personal readings are always a great way to get a more specific and accurate read on your own personal situation. All right. Also, last but not least, keep in mind with any of these looking ahead into the future type readings that future is not set in stone because energy is always shifting and changing, and it depends on the choices and decisions that you make or that other parties that are involved in this reading make after I post the reading. So we may see a specific outcome coming your way, but just know that you have free will to make your own choices and decisions and create a totally new and different future for yourself. All right, so let's go ahead and get into our pile selection. We're going to be working with 3 piles today. Starting here with pile number 1, we have some pink Himalayan salt. For pile number 2, we have some amethyst. And for pile number 3, we have some peach moonstone. So let's go ahead and take a deep breath. Think about Aries season and what it has in store for you. Go ahead and select the card or crystal you feel the most intuitively connected to. And once you've made your choice, scroll down to the description box to locate the timestamp that will take you to your pile selection. See you there. Hey there, pile number 1. If you guys picked out this pink Himalayan salt, this is going to be your reading for Aries season. So let's go ahead and jump right in and see what is in store for you. I'm going to start off with these cards here. So starting us off for you, we have the Fool, the Ace of Swords, the 2 of Pentacles, and the Ascendant. So right away, I feel that Aries season is about you guys really stepping into a brand new experience with the Fool and the Ascendant energy here. The theme of your season, your Aries season with the Ascendant is going to be kind of centered around like how you perceive this new experience that you're diving into and kind of the appearances and the perceptions that you're putting off to others. Our Ascendant, our rising sign, right? This has to do with the way that we kind of present ourselves to the world. And so I do think that there will be a little bit of this energy of you sort of having an awareness or needing to have an awareness of the energy that you're putting out as you get into this new experience during this time. And I do think that it could be a little bit difficult to be super aware of it, only because you guys are coming into Aries season in the Fool's energy. So the Fool is a beautiful energy. It's about new beginnings. The Fool, though, it's about kind of authentically just being who you are and not really caring about what others think. And sometimes it's a bit of a like naive, or I would even say like an ignorant energy, but not in a bad way. It's like you just don't know what you don't know because you're brand new to this situation. So you are coming into this, I think, kind of fully presenting as who you are, but you might have to kind of train yourself to think a little bit about like, is the way that I'm acting, is the energy that I'm presenting kind of like reading the room accordingly? Like, am I reading this new room that I'm stepping into and conducting myself accordingly? Hopefully that makes sense. But it's a beautiful energy. I mean, you guys are stepping into a new experience during Aries season. And with the Ace of Swords being here as well, this is also, it's an ace, so it's also talking about new beginnings. Ace of Swords being all about kind of the way we are thinking about things and communication. So there could be new beginnings in communication during this time, the way that you're communicating. This is an energy of very much cutting to the heart of the matter of a situation. But I also think for a lot of you, this Ace of Swords is talking about new ways of thinking about things, because the Ascendant card also talks about the way that we are perceiving this new experience, the worldview through which we are viewing it, the lens through which we are viewing it. And so I think for you guys, there's going to be a shift in perspective here during Aries season around this new energy you're stepping into. And the Ace of Swords I always describe as like an aha moment, like a light bulb moment where it's like, oh, I haven't really thought of it from this perspective before. And so it can be really empowering if you allow it to be, because maybe some of you guys are coming into Aries season struggling with like negative thought patterns or thinking about something from a perspective that isn't serving you. And so this aha moment is coming in for you to be able to see things differently and act differently. You guys also have the Two of Pentacles here. I'm really being drawn to this butterfly, so I feel transformation energy coming through really strong. There's a change that you guys are welcoming into your life. I mean, that's pretty much echoed through all of your cards. And with the Two of Pentacles, this is talking about resources, okay? So there could be a new way of thinking about your resources in your life, whether this is finances or other resources, and striving for a little bit more balance. But I also feel that it's almost like you guys might be balancing multiple things during this time, like investing in multiple things during this time and looking to find that balance of the exchange of resources. So I want to keep going. Let's just see what else comes through for you. So we have contract coming up, and we have the Temple Path. So beautiful energy. With the Temple Path, actually with both of these cards, I feel like this Aries season, this new beginning that you guys are stepping into is almost like a karmic or pre-contracted sort of spiritual experience for you. Because with this card coming up, I'm thinking of the Justice card, which is making me think of karma and lessons. But I also feel like this contract energy, like this is simply talking about something, we're being more committed to something. We're solidifying something in writing. We're formalizing something that we are doing. So some of you guys could be signing contracts during this time that are leading to this new beginning. And I really feel like with the Fool, that freedom is a huge component to this. Like Fool energy is that new kind of newbie energy, but it's also a very free energy where it's like non-committal in a sense, which is interesting to have it coming up to contracts, which is all about commitment. But something about this contract, being more serious about something, is almost affording you a little bit more freedom in your life. So I do think that there is this element of you all still having this seriousness around whatever it is that you're doing, even though it is something that might feel really fun or make you feel like you are free from something in a sense. And this could be also why we have this decision-making energy of the Two of Pentacles here around like how you want to kind of carefully plan this. Plan and allocate resources. But the Temple Path is talking about how, where you're at during Aries season is sort of like a step on your spiritual path. Like you are on a stepping stone during this time that is leading you to where you're ultimately destined to go, if you believe in this, right? I also think that I'm noticing these little orbs all around this Temple Path energy. And so I feel for a lot of you guys that this is significant of like your ancestors, spirit guides, angels in the spiritual realm guiding and protecting you forward onto this path. Some of you guys may actually be seeing orbs and things like that. So that could be of significance during this time. But the point being is that you're being guided, divinely guided onto the path that you're choosing during Aries season, which is really exciting. And I'm also kind of guided to say, like, I'm looking at this spiral right here. So I almost am kind of feeling like the path maybe has been a little confusing up until this point, And it's like, I feel you're finally kind of getting that clarity with the Ace of Swords around where you want to go and how you're going to think about this differently. So we have the energy of stillness coming through. And then we also have fall back. Interesting. So with the energy of stillness coming through, I feel like during Aries season, there's a focus here on peace in your life. Some of you all might be like infusing some practices in your day-to-day that are going to help you feel more calm and at peace and kind of like present in the moment with where you're at. She's doing yoga here. We have some incense burning. So there's something here about you kind of quieting your mind, quieting the noise all around you, and aligning with self around where you want to go and what you want to do. There could be new like physical practices in place during this time as well, like yoga or Pilates or really anything. It doesn't have to, I mean, the card is showing yoga and stretching, obviously, but it doesn't necessarily have to be that. But this card also very much talks about like spring cleaning and almost like inactivity in order to be more reflective. And it's kind of making sense because even though you guys have all these cards that talk about new beginnings, there's not a lot of like action energy that we're seeing here. It's a lot of energy and it's a lot of kind of this inward with the Ace of Swords, like thinking about things differently type of energy. I think a lot of you guys might be kind of cutting through the crap in your life and getting rid of things that no longer serve you, whether it's certain practices, thought patterns, situations. It's almost like with the sage being here, like you're cleansing and purifying your life in some capacity, which I think also makes a lot of sense with this pink Himalayan salt that you all chose as your crystal, because that is something that can very much help to purify and cleanse your space and offer protection. And I feel like this card is also with the Fool being here talking about, again, you being able to clear out anything in your life that feels inauthentic to you, because the Fool, it is all about authenticity. It's about being yourself in your purest form, you know? So there may be a cleansing of these energies or people or situations that have you feel like, you know, you can't be authentic with them. So I definitely feel like you guys are getting a lot of rest during this time also, which if that's what you're looking for, I think that will be awesome. So then we also have this energy of falling back here. And I'm really being drawn to how this angel has like this little ball and chain around her. And so when I'm reading this intuitively and looking at this Two of Pentacles, I definitely feel like there is this little bit of friction during Aries season, because I do feel you guys are like desperately wanting to spread your wings and fly and kind of embrace this new beginning. But with this Two of Pentacles, it feels like you're having to kind of like you're tied up with responsibilities somewhere else, right? The Two of Pentacles is giving me like, I'm investing over here and I'm investing over here. Whether this is like your time being invested between two different things or your resources being invested between two different things. And so I think there might be possibly a little bit of a sense of frustration during this time because you're wanting to be more free than you actually can be. But I think, again, going back to this Ace of Swords, I do feel like just changing your thought pattern around this, changing how you're choosing to speak about it and think about it is going to help you to move through this time with more of a sense of peace, okay? Because you guys may have other responsibilities that you genuinely are bound to, that you have to finish out. And I think this is also a part of the lesson that you're learning during this time, is around balancing and finishing and seeing things through till the end before we're able to, you know, fully dive into our new experiences. I think also during this time, you guys might be kind of assessing like the red flags in your situation, you know, really reevaluating, kind of going back to the stillness of spring cleaning, just really reevaluating like what's working for you, what's not working for you. And then with the Two of Pentacles, making those choices about what needs to stay and what needs to go so that you can be more free of this ball and chain, this weight that's weighing you down. So we're going to end with this one, and then I have a couple more I'll shuffle on camera. So we have the Warrior card here, which is, these cards are so beautiful. I don't know why I've never had them up until recently. I finally bought this deck. So the Warrior card is really interesting because this sort of talks about having to make very intentional choices and decisions, right? When you read about this card, it discusses how like a warrior, the way that we think about them, right? They're going out into battle and thus literally confronting a death, right? And having to make a choice, a very intentional and almost well thought out choice about like, you know, any action they're about to take on the battlefield. And how it's so important in this warrior energy to be intentional as you make choices and decisions, because if not, you can be cutting things out of your life that in a more reckless manner. Hopefully this makes sense. So when I'm speaking about like death in the warrior sense with this card, what I'm talking about is more of like death and rebirth energy in your life, right? We've talked a lot in this reading about how you guys are removing things during this time that no longer serve you, removing things that are showing red flags or making you feel weighed down in some capacity. And so with the Warrior card coming up, I feel like this is speaking about you taking that intentional and calm and well thought out action about what's getting cut out before you just cut everything, right? So it's kind of this avoidance of being reckless with your decisions. And I don't see any signs of you guys doing that during this time. You know, I mean, Aries is kind of a more feisty energy that can be reckless, but I feel mostly with these energies here that this is going to be a very careful, well thought out, well planned spring cleaning energy. So let's close this out, pile one, just with a couple of these little coffee cup oracles, just to see what other energies you should be aware of for Aries season. So we have the Eye, which talks about envy and protection. Okay. And we have Teeth, control and change. Interesting. So I do feel like this is kind of tying back to what I was saying about red flags and picking up on the red flags in your situation and then being able to make the choice, the very well thought out choices and decisions around what needs to go, what is no longer serving you, and thus welcoming in protection. I do think you all are protected during this time, though. As I was picking up on here with the Temple Path, you have spiritual support guiding you right now. So if there's a person, a situation that's giving red flags that you know is not really serving you in your highest good, you're protected during this time. And I think that this is a time where you're actually going to be awakening to it even more than you did in the past. So the Teeth coming up is interesting. Like whenever you guys have had that dream, I've never had this dream, but apparently there's a dream a lot of people have that's really common about all of their teeth falling out. And that's kind of the energy I was getting from this. And I feel like when I've heard about this dream, it has to do with feeling out of control in your life. And so I think that this card is coming up because it's a reminder for you that you actually have more control over your life than you think, okay? It feels maybe right now like there are other things controlling you or weighing you down, but I do feel that there's a perspective shift coming through for you so that you are able to kind of try to look and reframe your thoughts a bit differently to feel more in control of your situation. So very interesting reading, pile one. I'm excited to hear from you in the comments what you guys have planned for Aries season and how you kind of feel this reading resonates with those plans. So please drop me a comment below and let me know. If you're not already, please do subscribe to my channel. Hit that notification bell so you'll be updated when I post the next reading. And I'll see you then. Bye. Hey, pile two. If you guys picked out this beautiful amethyst cluster, this will be your reading for Aries season. So let's go ahead and jump in and see what's in store for you during this time. There's a little fuzz right there. Excuse that. Okay, we're going to start with these cards here. So starting us off, we have the Queen of Wands, the Ace of Wands, and the Seven of Pentacles with the 6th house. Okay. So 6th house, I love that this card talks about sustainability because that is like exactly what I think about when I think of the 6th house. you guys, I feel during Aries season are kind of evaluating your day-to-day life, which also kind of is sixth house energy, like your day-to-day life, your work that you do, just kind of the ins and outs of your day, just the mundane kind of ins and outs of your day and your routine. And you guys are evaluating whether or not this routine is sustainable to you. Do you have enough work-life balance? Are you balancing out all aspects and areas of your life in a way that feels achievable to you, sustainable to you? The sixth house can also talk about, in addition to like our day-to-day work that we do and our routines, it can also talk about themes of health. And so I do feel for some of you there is an element of making sure that your personal and mental health is balanced and cared for during this time. And if you really think about it, our day-to-day habits and behaviors can impact tremendously our mental health, our spiritual health, and our physical well-being as well. So I very much am feeling that there's like a striving of balance here as you're analyzing this. With the Queen of Swords coming up here, this is an energy of fairness, constructive feedback, leadership. And it's also talking about the way you're communicating and thinking about things. With this owl being here, I do believe that this is symbolic to this group making very wise decisions about their routine, their health, whatever it is for you, whichever aspect we discussed that resonated, but making very wise decisions based off of your experiences in the past. I think a lot of you guys are going to be setting really strong boundaries during this time as well with others, or just really strong boundaries and parameters around, giving too much of yourself, or really advocating for the balance that you need. And I feel like a big part of this balance for you is that with the Ace of Wands, you actually are welcoming in an opportunity to bring in more fun and passion and creativity into your life during this time. And with the Seven of Pentacles, I think that there's a need here to kind of reassess your day-to-day routine in order to bring more of this into the balance. Maybe you guys have been coming into this reading and feeling like you're overworked, or you've been spending too much time dedicated to other things that you have to take care of in your life, and you're losing out on the opportunity to have more fun and excitement and like work through your passions and your creativity. I'm feeling really strongly with this Ace of Wands that a lot of you guys have a lot of maybe creative ideas or just fun things that you're like dying to do, and maybe you've been just surrounded by a lot of serious energy. And so it's time to make some changes there. So let's continue. So we have adjacent possibilities coming up. And we also have the Healer of the Ages. So with adjacent possibilities coming up, I think that you guys are possibly looking at things a bit differently during this time, or choosing a path that is a little bit different than the straight and narrow. Because when we take a look at this card, right, most of us, when we think of like a path that we're walking down, we think of just going straight to the door ahead. But what this card is talking about is that there are other doors that can be opened, and that the path forward, the path to like success, doesn't necessarily always have to be the straight and narrow path, right? I don't know if you guys saw the shadow of that bird that just flew across, but he's like sitting out and like watching me do this reading. Anyway, sorry. Maybe that's a message for someone out there, a bird, I don't know. But so successful paths, or, whatever it is like that you're trying to move towards, it doesn't always have to be straight. In fact, it rarely ever is. Typically we do take detours, or we do take a path that's like kind of off the beaten road to get to where we need to be. And so I feel that you guys are identifying an opportunity to do something different, to try something different during this time, to kind of spice up your routine and go for whatever it is you're going for in a different way than what you did in the past, and maybe in an unconventional way as well. It's like you're opening yourself up to new and different opportunities outside of your day-to-day, routine. You guys also have the Healer of the Ages coming up as well. So I do feel that this is a period of healing for you. Again, I'm getting this balance energy. I also am getting receptivity from this card with his palms being open to the universe like that maybe during this time, you guys are focusing on receiving and attracting to you versus always having to be the one that's going all the time. You know, like there could be a little bit of an energy for you guys during Aries season of just leaning back, and maybe striking more of that balance in your life by allowing others to come to you or to pour into you versus you always having to pour into them. I'm also getting he's giving Jesus vibes. So that could be a significant archetype for some of you during this time. But this card is talking about taking a period of healing and balance as well. So you guys might be kind of separating yourself from or distancing yourself from things that feel depleting or people that feel depleting of your life force during this time. Excuse me. Okay, we have Solitude coming up. And we also have Forgiveness. So with Solitude, I definitely can see that you guys are going to be spending some time alone during Aries season, but I'm feeling that it's much needed. I just keep feeling like this group really needs to recharge their life force battery during this time. That you've been feeling maybe a bit depleted coming into Aries season, especially with this Healer of the Ages, and a lot of this energy of needing to reassess our routine is giving me that. You guys may be spending some time out in nature during this time, or just doing more activities and infusing more activities into your life that bring you peace and solace and allow you to recharge your social battery in a sense. This card also can talk about specifically detaching from situations or people who are taking too much from us energetically. So I do see you taking that intentional space during this time to really pour back into yourself and balance yourself out. I do feel you guys are also releasing something during Aries season 2. Forgiveness is about, letting go of situations that are burdening us. Right? So whether there's forgiveness needed for self, maybe forgiveness of another in your life. Some of you guys may also be connecting with your ancestors during this time because she's kind of, sitting here at her altar. But forgiveness is about release. It's about releasing and letting go and relieving yourself of the burden of holding on to something that is no longer serving you. And I think I always say this when we get a forgiveness type of message, but forgiveness is not about excusing someone else's bad behavior. You can forgive without forgetting, right? But it's about releasing the burden of holding on to being upset with someone and allowing yourself to move on. And if this is about self, this is about forgiving yourself, right? For choices and decisions that you might regret or mistakes that you feel like you've made, and allowing yourself to release that burden and just move on with your life. Okay. So let's grab this card and then we're going to shuffle a couple more on camera. So we have the Flame. Oh my gosh. So this is very much like this Ace of Wands energy. The Flame is fire energy, you guys. This is, like I was saying before, this Aries season with this Flame card is all about you guys finding your light again, finding what inspires you again, replenishing your life force again, doing things like infusing more fun in your life and being more creative, just finding your light again. You know what I mean? I just continue to feel like this group has maybe come into Aries season having gone through something or just having just dealt with a really depleting situation. And so I feel like with the Flame card coming up, this is just confirming that Ace of Swords, that this is going to be a time frame where you guys get to really fill your own cup again and find that inspiration and have more fun and recharge your batteries, if you will. All right, pile 2. So we're going to close out with some coffee cup oracle cards. So let's just kind of see what other energies you guys want to be aware of during Aries season. I feel like that bird that was watching me do your reading was totally a message. And when I think about birds, I think about communication, right? Like messages. I also think about freedom because birds can kind of fly off and come and go as they please. So there's something there for you. And I don't know what kind of bird it was because it's gone now. Plus, I don't know. I'm not really good at bird watching at this time to know like what type of bird it is. All right, so pile 2. What else should they know about Aries season and what's ahead for them? We have the Gate. And we have the Dolphins. Love this for you. Okay. Yeah, so I mean, with the Dolphins coming up, this is exactly what I was feeling. Like, this is talking about playfulness and cooperation. So I love that it's talking about playfulness because I do feel that during this time, you guys are trying to soul search and find ways to bring more playful and fun energy into your life. I do feel like this is a time where we're bringing in more joy, more fun. Maybe you guys are connecting with friends or family or just like exchanging energy with people who you feel like you gel with a little bit better. You know what I mean? Like we're getting rid of relationships during this time that bring friction or tension into our lives or that are imbalanced with the 6th house, right? Like it's balance and reciprocation, I feel are very, very important themes to this group during this time. You guys also have the Gate. So the Gate is talking about new opportunities and it talks about home. So it's kind of interesting with the home being here because the 6th house for me is like your day-to-day routines. So there could be something about your day-to-day routine at home that's shifting or changing perspectives during this time. And again, with the adjacent possibilities, there's opportunity being presented to you here, but it's something that's a little different or outside of the box than what you may have initially thought of. But it's very much like a new beginning energy. You know, like if we look here, we have a gate that's opening up and we have a path ahead. So definitely just confirming that there's a new opportunity happening for you guys during this time or coming through for you guys during this time, and it has to do with your day-to-day. So pile 2, it looks like you guys have a great Aries season ahead. I would love to hear from you in the comments what you guys have planned for Aries season and how you feel like this may have resonated with those plans. So drop me a note down below and let me know. If you're not already, please do subscribe to my channel, hit that notification bell so you'll be updated when I post the next reading, and I look forward to seeing you then. Bye! Hey pile 3, and welcome to your reading. If you guys picked out this peach moonstone, we're going to be looking into what's ahead for you this upcoming Aries season. So let's jump right in, starting off with this little section of cards. Excuse me. So you guys are starting off with the Knight of Swords, the Queen of Wands, and the Knight of Cups. Lots of court cards. We also have Pallas Athena coming up here from astrology. So let's take a look. So right off the bat, because you guys have so many court cards here, I'm guided to say that for some of you guys, this could be a time where other people and other kind of characters, so to speak, are playing a significant role in your life. Knight of Swords being someone who is embodying air sign energy, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. This would be somebody who's very like quick on their feet, great with conversation, ambitious, goes after what they want. This can be your energy as well. Queen of Wands being someone who is confident, also great at managing and multitasking and has a really magnetic personality. Knight of Cups being somebody who is very emotionally expressive, right? So it's interesting because all 3 of these court cards, whether they embody yourself or others, kind of the key theme that I'm seeing here is that they all sort of talk about taking inspired action in some capacity. And I definitely feel with the Son of Swords and the Mother of Wands that there is an energy for you guys during Aries season of being ambitious, being successful, wanting success, taking that action. Pallas Athena is all about using your intellect, right? Using your intellect to make calm, cool, decisive choices. And whenever I see Pallas Athena, I kind of think about like boss energy in a sense, like that strong, confident, like person that walks into the boardroom and they just know they're there for a reason. They're a leader. They're not afraid to express, and tell you what they think is the right analysis of the situation. It's very swordsy energy, not swordsy, but swords energy, like the Son of Swords here. So there could be something about you guys really stepping into leadership energy during this time, stepping into an authoritative position during this time in your life, whether it's at work, for some of you, I feel like it is, or just in general in your life. And being able to communicate really clearly and directly with others and think about things before you speak. So I definitely feel with this Knight of Swords that there's inspired action for you during Aries season. You're feeling very ambitious. You're going after something quickly. With the Queen of Wands, and also maybe even having to communicate really sharply about what it is that you want with this Pallas Athena. And with the Queen of Wands, again, this is like somebody who is kind of, the person in charge. I think that you guys are having a lot of people magnetized to you during this time because of how vivacious and how magnetic your personality is and your energy is. I'm also seeing this energy of incubation during this time because we have like this snake kind of keeping the eggs warm. So you guys might actually be working on something really important during this time, possibly something creative. And there's an energy of nurturing and pouring effort and energy into it, giving it its time to fully develop during this time. And with the Knight of Cups, this is all about emotional expression. It's also about taking action, just like the Knight of Swords, but in a more like loving and compassionate way. For some of you guys, for a select few of you, I am almost seeing this as two different love interests vying for your attention in a sense. Like there might be someone that's more like air energy, kind of like sharp and witty, and then someone that's more like water energy, someone that's more loving and like emotional. That's just for some random one of you out there though. So let's continue. Awesome. So we have the woman holding a coin and we have the first chakra. Yeah. This definitely feels for most of you guys like something to do with your work because with the woman holding a coin and the root chakra, it's kind of giving like with the root chakra, this is more about like your stability, your security, building your foundations, right? With whatever it is that you're doing. And the woman holding a coin is going to be someone who's really good with business, money, finances, managing others, managing their work. Someone who's showing up in a very responsible type of energy here. So it is giving like work energy for a lot of you guys, or something to do with your career and you really rising to the occasion and taking action toward your goals. There could be, I still keep getting for some of you guys that there's something about love life coming up with the Knight of Cups. I'm almost feeling like for some of you, there could be a storyline here about, a love interest coming in and you kind of building a solid foundation with this love interest while taking inspired and ambitious action towards your work. Like I do feel there's kind of a couple different things happening for some of you guys. So we have celebration coming up, which is beautiful. And then we also have bearing fruit. I do think that during this time, you guys are reaping the rewards of the hard work that you've put in, because the woman holding a coin is somebody who already has they're already good with their financial abundance, their career. They've already kind of worked their way up to a certain type of position. And so I feel very much that this time is about you really stepping into that confidence of knowing who you are and earning the respect of others, commanding the respect of others in a sense. And the hard work and effort that you've put into something is finally starting to pay off here. I feel there's going to be more joy being infused into your life during this time, more fun. You're going to start to see the return on your investment for the efforts that you've put in. And it's also kind of interesting because it's like we're starting off Aries season with this very driven energy of the Knight of Swords, and then kind of infusing into a more like joyous kind of a little slower energy with the Knight of Cups here, where we're kind of shifting from being more like clear cut and ambitious to being still ambitious, but more relaxed into our heart space about it. Like being able to go after what you love in a sense versus having to go after the coin. I don't know if that makes sense, but that's how I feel. But yeah, I definitely see there's a lot more higher levels of enjoyment coming in for you guys during Aries season. I think with celebration, you guys are achieving something, or you have achieved something as you move into Aries season. And this is going to be a time where you get to maybe come together with your friends, your family, and celebrate whatever this milestone is that you have achieved, which is beautiful. I also see this as just being like, you know, in general, for some of you guys, infusing more fun and celebratory energy into your life. But it definitely feels with this Mother of Swords that like you guys are the center of attention during this time. And that you are the center of the celebration. Like you guys have a lot to feel really proud of. You guys have a lot to feel really proud of during this time. And it's almost like it's your turn to get your flowers, you know? Like I feel like for this group, I don't know why I'm getting this, but maybe you have always been the one like kind of as the guest at other people's celebrations. And now it's your turn. Now you're the one that's reaching a special milestone, and you're the one that's getting that recognition. So we have the Cave. So I think for a lot of you guys, there's been this energy of maybe it's kind of giving the same energy to me as this Queen of Wands, like it's incubation energy. I think that you have spent a lot of time working on whatever you're working on whatever it is that you're celebrating, okay? And you may have spent a lot of time by yourself or in seclusion because you needed to work on this thing, whatever it is. And because you gave it the time and you've given it the time to really develop and pour your energy into in a really loving and strategic way, it's like I feel you emerging from this cave refreshed and having done this the right way. You know what I mean? The cave energy is about solitude, you know? So like, I do think that there is still this energy of you guys maybe not being used to being in the spotlight, you know? Maybe some of you guys are more loners naturally, or just haven't really been out there like that in a while. And maybe you're more introverted too for some, and like being social is like a lot. You know, you have to really recharge your social battery and retreat. And that could still be something you need to do, right? I could definitely still see you guys taking that time to self, right? With the Queen of Wands and the Cave. Like during this time, there's a lot to celebrate. There are a lot of eyes on you, but there's also this energy of like needing to retreat to recharge my social battery, or just, you know, be to myself in general. But this is looking beautiful, pile 3. Let's grab a couple of these coffee cup oracle cards, and then we'll close out your message. So what else should pile 3 know about their upcoming Aries season and this situation that we're tapping into? Okay, so these two are flying out. So we've got the Wheel, endings and beginnings, and we have the Lion, strength and success. How beautiful. So yeah, with the Lion coming up here, you guys have worked really hard on this. And I do feel that this is almost confirming this bearing fruit, where during Aries season, you will be seeing the fruits of your labor. You're going to get to enjoy some hard-earned pleasures. And I do think that a lot of you guys with the Lion card here, I'm starting to feel a little bit of like a discomfort in the pit of my stomach. So I think that confidence might still be an opportunity for some of you during this time, or maybe you've had to really work on becoming more courageous as you transition into Aries season, and being more courageous has gotten you to the success that you're in right now. But the wheel is beautiful because this is talking about new beginnings, right? Like there's some sort of chapter that I feel a lot of you guys may be closing out, and you're now able to welcome in something new. And I love that it's a wheel because I think of actually steering your own course. You know, there's some sort of new energy that you're getting to direct yourself into during this time. And it's something where you're going to get to really celebrate and enjoy yourself quite a bit. So pile 3, this is a beautiful reading for your Aries season. I would love to hear from you in the comments what you've been working on and what you have planned for Aries season. So please drop me a comment down below. If you're not already, please do subscribe to my channel, hit that notification bell so you'll be updated when I post the next reading, and I'll see you then. Bye.